Okay, guys, we are live and we are about to have a fantastic Friday night chat. I have my Waddy cordial drink here, non-alcohol, ready to roll. The boys are on the, sort of beer. Let's put it that way. The boys are on the beer.
I've got a proper jar. I'm having a proper jar
It's like
tonight.
you're drinking out of a fucking jar, jam jar.
Yeah, sure. That's what we do. It's a fucking jar. I'm having a jar tonight. There's no jam in the fucking.
That's when you got the name on the jar. But anyway. Big chat we're going to have tonight. We're going to have a lovely chat about the big one on Sunday, of course, at the Emirates. It is Arsenal, it is Liverpool, it is Klopp, it is Arteta, it is whatever you want to say. We have a great record recently against them, but tables have turned slightly. You might as well say it. I know the bookies had them as slight favourites, but I still think...
I looked at the just before we came on, evens. We're both 6-4.
Yeah, I see it. Well, it must have just changed. It must have just changed. I checked it earlier on today at lunchtime, and they were slight favourites. But as I say, we have a great record there. But I think we've got to bring our A game this weekend to get a win. Anyway, maybe a draw. A draw looks like a score draw looks like what everybody would say. But you never know. Look, to talk about it, as usual, is Keith at EatonRyan on Twitter and Ivan at Ivan Jennings on Twitter in the house Friday night. Guys, you looking forward to the game?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it now, to be honest with you. As you said before, we've done well at that stadium. It's a nice big stadium. Probably suited maybe some of our... always seem to suit Man A, to be honest with you. As suited Bobby, I suppose, in the past as well. So,
Jota's a great record there.
Yeah. It's a nice big pitch. It's a nice big open pitch. So it's like recently it's been quite kind to us, to be honest with you. So, and I think, to be honest with you, it probably the outcome of the game will probably depend more on what version of us turns up than what version of them turns up, if I'm being honest. So
yeah. Look, we'll talk about lineups and stuff like that and everything, but it was nice to see midweek. I know it's Rangers, like it's a different league, it's a different level than Arsenal. Let's be real, but I did see nice little things in that game. And at the end of the day, it's all about confidence. It's all about clean sheets. It's all about we could have had 7 or 8 the other night, couldn't we? We really, I mean, Darwin. What did you think of Darwin the other night? I thought he was
I was training, so I missed the first half. I only caught the second half, to be honest with you. So I came in completely clean, off the training pitch, straight into the second half. So I knew nothing apart from the scoreline. And when I look at the second half in isolation, I can't hand on heart say I was blown away by anything, to be honest with you. I didn't think. I thought we still looked quite.
Wasn't blown away.
I thought we still looked quite disjointed as a team, to be honest with you. I thought each individual part of the team. I know there was a lot of substitutions made throughout the second half, to be honest with you. He pretty much used. I think he used his 5, didn't he? And after the second round, we kind of we lost our way a little bit. So it's difficult for me to gauge. Having talking to people, I only saw highlights then of the first half where we looked like we had an absolute half full of chances. So, but couldn't really get a sense of the build-up play and how we played collectively over that half. So, looking at the second half, maybe the substitutions, I didn't see a huge amount of turn the corner football there, to be honest with you, particularly against a poor Ranger side. Let's call a spade a spade. They're the whipping boys of that group.
It's hard to judge, isn't it? I mean, it's hard to judge. I mean, you probably judge it on 6 or half 6 on Sunday night. Or maybe actually Sunday week, because we've got Arsenal away Sunday, Ibrox on Wednesday at Rangers, which won't be easy, even though it's a poor Rangers side. Going to Ibrox and get the win won't be easy. And then City Sunday week. So I suppose you could say where we will be Sunday week, Ivan, will be a good thermometer check on us at 7 o'clock next Sunday week.
I thought we were good. I watched the game obviously on Tuesday, and firstly I'd say the atmosphere was 100 times better than it was against Brighton. Right, that's the first thing. I'm not sure if that was just under the lights or whatever, but there was a lot of feedback that the atmosphere wasn't great on Saturday, and I was there, and it wasn't great. But they adjusted, and I think what you could see, whether they were playing a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, they were solid, and it was back to having Henderson covering for Trent what he was getting forward. I think playing Núñez and Jota in the same team gives you lots of options there, as almost like 2 9s at times, but also Núñez was kind of getting wide on both sides, which was really good. they got disjointed in the second half because he did make subs, and
Yeah.
it was very much like
that though, don't you?
Of course you do. And like it was like they were like a low block, the usual kind of five at the back, and us trying to break them down, and it was hard. And in fairness, we could have scored 7 or 8, but it was the usual. The keeper had an absolute fucking worldie of a game.
Like
he pulled off one save from Nunes
the
with his
fingertips
hands.
from Jota. See that one?
That was an incredible save. But the one against Nunes, he got a steady hand on a volley, and you were just like, "Fuck me." Incredible, absolutely incredible. So it could have been 7 or 8.
One thing, Joe, just to throw out there for consideration, right? Like if we're not as brittle, right? If we're not as susceptible to injuries at the moment, where everybody's trying to be protected, I don't think he makes that amount of subs at just 2-0 up in a Champions League game match. I think he makes maybe 1, 2, possibly 3. He doesn't clear the bench, or use all 5 subs. At 2 up, it's a very dangerous lead. And
I thought he was comfortable enough, Keith, to say all the possession that this game was won. I know it's an unusual. They to make it 2-1.
But you saw what happened after that. Like, it's a dangerous lead. 2-0 is a dangerous lead, irrespective of how in command of a football match.
I wanted a third. I wanted 3.
Yeah, you know what? At 3, you clear the bench. I think he's just nervous about players getting injuries, and there's a couple of things being done there that don't make an awful lot of sense to me. I think 5 subs in a Champions League match, right? Now, at 2-0 up, and the way we've been conceding silly goals at the moment, I think is cavalier, to be honest with you, and screams that he's doing that because he's afraid of people being injured and he's protecting that rather than making good decisions.
I think there's another view on it, right? And I think what I'm really happy with is we've been critical of him being loyal and sticking to his guns. I think he's realized now that he has to change things, and I think he's looking at he wants to look at a new system and a new way of playing, and I think he's just trying players in certain positions to see that they work, right? And I think we could be in for a surprise or two on Sunday. Now, if we were playing Ajax and he cleared the bench at 2 up, I'd be worried. But they were streets ahead of Rangers, and I mean, I don't think Rangers had a touch in our box in the first half. They were going long. They were going for the Trent channel all the time, and we were just mopping it up. And in fairness, we were pushing up to the halfway line. We were well on top, and it could have been 4 or 5 by half time, let alone.
Yeah, I know, and I hear you. But at the point in time where he starts making wholesale changes, we're only 2-0 up, and then we have a clearance off the line, and then
no, I get you.
That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Like I don't think 2-0 is a game over in the Champions League. To be honest with you, I don't think 2-0 is, and he's traditionally not made a huge amount of subs unless we've been up 3, 4, 5. So so I'm just saying there's still a degree of nervousness in the background there, and there's a couple of decisions being made in terms of starting players and players coming on that don't make a huge amount of sense to me at the moment, to be honest with you.
But I would say, Keith, like I don't we haven't turned the corner, right?
No,
this isn't the one result and suddenly it's all great. I thought he made a great comment there during the week about looking at the league table or seeing where we were, and he's like, why would I want to look at the league table? Like we have problems. He's working through whatever the solution is going to be, and we're weeks away. We could win the next 10 games, but I don't think we're going to be the old Liverpool in the next 10 games. I think we have so much work to do individually, as a team, shape, confidence. You mentioned it last week. The hunger still isn't there for me, right? No. Even on Tuesday night, the hunger is not there for me. Or like as a team, it's there with individuals. So we've got buckets of work to do. And I
heard Klopp say something really interesting today on his presser. He mentioned about Liverpool becoming unpredictable because we were too predictable. And I think that's why. So that's maybe why that formation and changed, like nearly 4 up front the other day. That was I didn't predict that. None of us predicted that lineup. You know
but
I
think, Dave, when we were, if you look back to 2 years ago, we were predictable, right? Like you could see how we'd set up and how we'd play, but we were unplayable. Now we've become playable because players aren't given it as much as they have. Like Salah his game was always get it on the right, move inside, but nobody could get near him. But now he's lost a bit of pace or a bit of confidence or something. I don't mind us being predictable if we're winning games, we're blowing teams away, but we've become lethargic and we haven't had that hunger that Keith mentioned last week. We just haven't. We haven't been on it. We haven't been on the front foot. And like, don't talk about Mane leaving as being the start of it. Fuck that, lads.
That's gone. Mane wanted to leave at Christmas. He got his wish. That's gone. He's been brilliant for us, but we move on from Mane. We're moved on from Mane.
Pressing comes from everybody on the pitch, and it hasn't been there. And we haven't been at 100%. And when we haven't been at 100%, and you play the risky game that we play, and players like Trent get called out for playing their natural game, and players haven't been covered for them, and blah blah blah. It becomes a fucking a perfect storm of a perfect shitstorm basically.
Daz is saying here, check out Liverpool Connection podcast with Daz O'Connor here. We are a work in progress at the minute, but the lads will have taken some confidence out. Yeah, listen, any type of win against no matter who, it can only be who's in front of you, will give you some confidence. I seen bits in it. I took bits away from that game. I wasn't blown away, or as Keith said, it wasn't, it wasn't a 5-star performance around. It was Rangers, but it was a win. It was a clean sheet. We had a lot of chances. The only thing I would take away from that, get back onto your bleeding shooting boots back on, because, it could be like a Bournemouth thing. We're going to give someone a fucking hiding again because the chances we created, I'm not saying it'll be Arsenal, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing about that though is that we've all been having conversations. We've had many conversations since the start of the season whereby on another night, someone gets a fucking hiding here. On another night, we put 5 here. On another night, and we're not putting 5, and we're consistently not putting 5 past, and we're not scoring force, and we're conceding force. So there's a few bits and pieces like that. I tell you what I did like from the start, and like, Núñez got into great positions and put the ball on target, right? And with a little bit more luck, they go in, right? Keepers pulled off some great saves. If he wasn't getting himself into those positions and wasn't getting his shots on target, I'd be a hell of a lot more worried. I've no issue or no worry with him. Yeah. He just needs a little bit of luck in front of goal, and then they'll start to flow with him. To be honest with you, they'll start to flow. You're right. So I've no concerns there whatsoever. I've also no concerns in terms of us turning around. By the way, when you think about last season, we went to Christmas being quite abject, and then after Christmas, 14 points behind, or pretty much close to Christmas, 14 points behind, and look at the second half of the season. So and I still think that's well within the capability of that squad of players to be able to do that. However, I think this season, in order for us to be competitive, not necessarily going for a title, but top 4, we can't afford, because everyone else isn't as shit as they were last year, to be honest with you, right? So we can't afford to be going into. I think the league could be over by late March, right? But if we're going for top 4 here, which is probably more realistic from our perspective, we need to start getting our show on the road over the next couple of games. So
I seen the thing on Twitter today, and I was listening to his press conference today, and he mentioned Naby being out, Ox being out, and Robertson being out. I heard him saying something about Thiago, and then I heard people talking about Thiago's not in the training pictures today. He mentioned Thiago today. He actually says that Thiago is a bit of a niggle or something like that, and then stopped. And then on Twitter, they're going, he's not in the pictures. And I'm going, I think he's a bit of a niggle. That's the reason he's not in the fucking. I don't think anybody copped it. Hopefully he's okay for Sunday, but because we'll need him on the fucking pitch.
Yeah. Like he essentially won us the game last year against these. If you remember, they absolutely battered us in the first half. Battered us. Yeah. And he played a ball into Jota for that first goal, and the game changed after that. So like he's been crucial to it, and I think with the kind of midfield that we have, and like I could see it on Saturday against Brighton when they played the 3. Henderson's legs are gone playing in that formation. They really are, and I think if we go to a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, Henderson's much more comfortable in there when there's more bodies or when the running is ahead of him. If we've got if we play 3 and Núñez up front, you've got much more legs around you, and he doesn't have to do that much, because like he was superb during the week covering for Trent, and I know it was only Rangers, but for Thiago is absolutely vital to have in that team.
Bit of a worry then if he's not available. I'm not saying he isn't. I just seen something today. I heard him mention Thiago's name, and he sort of stopped halfway through the sentence, and then he'd seen the thing on Twitter tonight saying he hasn't been seen in any of the pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just something small. Hopefully it is. But so,
like,
guys, what would you do?
I honestly don't understand why, if we go into a game like this, you know, when we actually set out to be quite compact as a unit, right? In other words, we set ourselves up as a 4 and a 3, and even if it is just Salah on one side and Diaz on the other side, and potentially Núñez going through the middle because he's got a lot of pace, and we do look to set up to contain, like we saw what United did against Arsenal. They literally cut them open with balls down the channels. There's no reason why we shouldn't, you know, like we're probably looking at the way they're going to set up. It's not going to be one of those games where we dominate possession. They're probably going to have a good bit of the ball, right? You know, they're good enough now at this stage to have a good bit of the ball. So for us bombing on, right, and trying to do our thing and trying to impose our game on them on Sunday, I don't know why we don't, with the personnel we have available, why we don't kind of take a little bit more of a conservative approach, limit the space, cut down the space, and then look to counter-attack them, because fucking hell, we've got pace to board.
Yeah, and I think you're dead right, Keith.
Pitch,
I think you're dead right, but I think that the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-4-2 allows us to do that, right? So if we play the 4 with, be it Henderson and Thiago, or Henderson or Thiago and Fabinho, that's really compact, right? Really, really compact. But we've also got 4 incredible strikers ahead of us, right? So I think we will play a much more of a counter-attacking game, and I'm really confident about Sunday against these, because they will have more of the ball. I know it's shocking to say that a team like Arsenal will.
No, but they've improved. They
have improved. Of course, they've improved.
And you've got to give them the credit for that. You know, they bought fairly well. You know, and they're doing quite well, to be honest.
But I think Jesus was actually a miraculous signing to get Jesus. But I mean,
if we bomb on, they have got, with Saka one side and Martinelli on the other side, they have got, you know, and Jesus playing through the middle. They've got the tools within their armory to put us under a serious amount of pressure and to get in
Odegaard as well, yeah.
You know, Odegaard, well, he'll pick them out, to be honest with you. So don't, you know, even just take a yard off and allow our front players to do that. Almost like we're 3-0 up, you know, and then we're just catching teams on the counter attack, you know. You got to see how the match develops. Like sometimes they're just not at it, and we get on the ball and we're dominating and we can do what we want. But I think, you know,
I think the goal tells, Keith. If we let in an early goal at the Emirates and Arsenal are on fire, full of confidence, that would be a fucking disaster for us, an early goal. Whereas if we get the early goal, then you can play your counter-attack because they're going to come at you. You know what I mean? So I think
irrespective, they'll give us chances, and irrespective, we'll create chances. I think what it boils down is, do we take them chances? I think they'll score. I think we'll score. And I think you're right. Whoever scores first might dictate where the result goes, to be honest with you, you know. But I'd fancy both teams to score.
The good thing here from Andy Ellis, Hendo +1 double pivot, Bobby in front, Núñez in front of him, Salah Diaz either side. That gives us cover for the defence and wings, but pace up front, Bobby pulling the strings. Bobby and Jota, of course, are great records against Arsenal. What team would you go with? What's your 11? Let's say Thiago's fit. I don't know what the story is with Thiago. I just heard rumours today, but...
Well, I'd go Trent, Van Dijk, Matip, and I think Robbo's out, so Tsimikas. Now, the one question I would have, and I think it's worth us discussing it after everybody picks their team. Do we give Konate a chance somewhere, and does he come in for?
Because of the pace.
Does he come in for Van Dijk? I'll just park that there for a second, right? The midfield, if Thiago's fit, it's Thiago and Hendo. And then the front 4 is Salah, Jota, Diaz, and Núñez. That's it for me.
Keith, something similar?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think in the big games, and I think it does all hinge on Thiago. I think in the big games, I think he may very well revert back to his 4-3-3. And
very conservative in big games, isn't he?
Yeah,
he likes a tight midfield.
I think if he has Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago fit, I think they start. And then it's a matter of who he plays through the centre, to be honest with you, right? And I think he'll play Diaz, and I hope the fuck he plays Diaz and doesn't do a Brighton. Plays Diaz on one side and plays Salah on the other side, and then it's a
Does
toss
he play Nunez or Jota? That's the question.
But that's it. Like, to be honest with you, if he goes 4-3-3, I think he goes Jota, and I think if he goes 4-2-3-1, he plays Nunez, right, as the top striker. I just think if the three lads are fit, I'll go with Ivan, right? If Thiago's not fit, I think it's going to look something like Ivan's. But I think if Thiago's fit, I think he'll go with the three just for protection. And then he'll pretty much say, right, that's our 4 and our 3, and we let the front 3 go win the game. And I think he'll kind of divert
the problem I have with that is that when he plays 4-3-3, it's not a defensive lineup. It's attacking. Do you know what I mean? And he's using Fabinho as a 6, and unfortunately in that system his 8 and his 7, be it Thiago and Henderson, they're more advanced. When he plays the 2 in front of the 4, that's very compact, and he just lets and the other 4 can do whatever they need to. I think if he goes 4-3-3, that's we're more open there, I think.
Well, if Henderson plays on the right-hand side, that's his job.
You see, I think if Henderson, and the problem I have, Keith, and watching him at the weekend and compared to watching him during the week, when he plays in a 2, he's sitting. He's not going anywhere. He's covering for Trent maybe and just playing in front. When he's playing in a 3, he's also got a responsibility to make some width there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the legs. He really doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, and I know I said at the start of the season, he's happy with that midfield. I actually thought that he was going to play a 4-2-3-1 from the start of the season to accommodate trying to get Nunez into the team.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Acknowledging.
I think he'll do that on Sunday.
Yeah, I think he will.
I really do. I think he's changing his mind now. I heard him today. He's mentioned stuff about being unpredictable, and we've got to be unpredictable and do things differently. I think he's making Arsenal guess. Arsenal probably think he go 4-3-3, and he probably will go 4-2-3-1.
Mm-hmm. I hope he does. I genuinely hope he does. Anyway,
I think it's very difficult. It's very difficult for him. It's very difficult for him if the 3 of them are available not to start the 3 of them in that game. I think it's difficult. But listen,
it's a nice option, Keith. You know what I mean?
But listen, he dropped Fabinho. He wasn't happy with Fabinho at the weekend, and he dropped him.
He's done that in the past. He's done that in the past. He kick up the arse, and he's thrown him straight back in again.
And he took Henderson off at about 60 minutes, and Henderson was not happy. And you could see Henderson went to the bench, pissed off, and came back and shook his hand. He was not happy.
Henderson was getting into the game actually when he took him off.
Yeah.
But the good thing here from Daz from the Liverpool Connection podcast, Martinelli matchup against Trent scares the living shit out of him. But man, Martinelli, I do like him, and I know Klopp really likes him. He's grown into a proper player. I mean, if players all over the pitch, Saka's dangerous. We know Jesus, and he's a good record against Liverpool when he used to play for City. Used to see him to always score against Liverpool, didn't he? So you have him, Odegaard, even your man Xhaka, who really
a bit of a renaissance.
Yeah, Partey. He's come on. I mean, they have a really good, solid side there.
They have, and the one thing I'd say, they've stuck with Arteta.
Yeah.
Arteta was being slaughtered for 2 or 3 seasons. Now, I know he came up short, and this is where I think he'll come up short at the weekend. He came up short against United, right? And they played really well against them. I think Klopp will outwit him this weekend. But he's got consistency into his team now. He really has. And the likes of Xhaka and like Martinelli's a great player, but I think the interesting one for me is Trent and Martinelli. Trent's getting such a horrible time, right? I watched a couple of videos today, both his goals and his defensive abilities. When he's actually defending, he's actually a decent defender. Where he gets caught out is when he goes wandering, and he either doesn't get back on time, or he looks like he's kind of sauntering back.
He's caught out. He's usually caught out of his place. Like,
he's
you know,
caught out of position, right? But he's been told to attack and to get forward, and that the centre half or the right-sided midfielder or the right-sided player in the 2 is to cover for him. And when the team isn't at 100%, and he's still doing that, that's when they get exposed. But I've looked at some of his challenges, one-on-ones, last-minute challenges, nicking the ball from people. He's a decent defender. He's excellent going forward. He's not the best defender in the world. He's a decent defender.
Happy birthday to Alexander Trent. He's 24 today. He's
Fair play to
24. Happy birthday to Trent.
I'm a huge fan.
I think he might go 4-2-3-1. I really do. I think he's got to get Núñez in. I was happy what I seen in Núñez. Once he scores, the goals will come, lads. You know what I mean? But you've got to play to score. So you know what I mean? I think you play him. I think you do play him. You know?
Are you happy though? Are you happy if the 4-2-3-1 is Fabinho and Henderson? No Thiago.
No.
There you go.
No.
So
well, if we were stuck like that, I would still go. I don't want to go 4-3-3 against Arsenal away.
But there you go. Look, Rob Holland is saying the 4-3-3 isn't working for us now. We haven't got the legs anymore.
No.
Those three have to cover so much bleeding space and grass. They're getting older. They're 30 plus.
Yeah.
And
Rob's
they just
spot on
don't have to. And maybe that's why he's tweaking as well.
I'll throw another one out there for you. 4-2-3-1 hasn't exactly been the silver fucking bullet for us either, has it?
It hasn't in the past. No, it definitely hasn't. You're right, Keith. It hasn't. But I think now, and I think at the start of the season, he was looking at the players that we have in midfield: Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, all getting a little bit on. They don't have the legs. Let's just make it a 2 and push the 4 up front, and we've got the solidity at the back. It on paper it can look a bit disjointed, but it kind of goes back to basics where we were really doing that kind of counter pressing and really pushing forward, getting the most out of Diaz, getting the most out of Salah, and also integrating Núñez into that team as a central striker. I know there's a lot to take in there. There's lots to change. But for me, the midfield just does not have that legs. But he hasn't changed them, so I think the only way they fit in is as a 2.
So what do you think, Arsenal? I mean, Arsenal, they're going to go. I think they'll go all out attack. I know they played the other night in the Europa League, but that was like the third and second team mixed.
Oh, they benched
3-0 or whatever.
They'll be fresh enough now.
They'll be fresh. And I think personally, Jesus, anytime he fucking plays against Liverpool, I'm always nervous of him. Whenever he played for City or came on, you're always thinking he's going to get a goal, aren't you? Martinelli's another one. But for me, if we can keep Jesus, I think quiet, I think that is the big thing for me. If we can keep him quiet, if Van Dijk or whoever's playing again, I think it'd be Matip, Van Dijk. I think Kanate will play against Rangers midweek. I think that's.
Well, what do you think? There's a lot of commentary about Van Dijk being. He won't be, but should he be dropped based on his performances?
Who?
Van Dijk?
No, I can't see it. No. You play into form. Play him into form. You know what I mean? It could work the other way around, dropping him and fucking plays out of form and fucking starts a hump and starts giving out, and I'd play him into form. Keep fucking playing him.
We were talking a couple of weeks about him
against Salah.
Yeah,
you could say the same since Salah.
Well, Salah at the weekend was brilliant. He really was.
Do you know what I'm saying though? I mean, people saying Salah, what is he even playing for? You have to play Salah.
People are talking about Van Dijk playing for the World Cup. You know?
Yeah.
People are talking Van Dijk playing for a World Cup.
I don't know about that. That's fucking. Don't believe that for one bleeding minute.
Here's the other one that I thought was great. They're just back on the shape, right? What if you went with a 3-4-3 and you had Matip, Van Dijk, and Kanate, and you have Henderson? You've got Robertson and Trent. This is obviously when they're all fit. Tsimikas and Trent, or Robbo when he's fit, and then you've got the other 2. You could 2 from 3 in the middle.
Fab Hendo or Thiago Hendo or Fab, whatever.
Yeah.
What are you smoking? Don't drop VVD. No. I'll give the defense. I'm smoking that, and I'm drinking my waddy, baby.
It's only a suggestion.
Look, the opinions. That's what we like on this show. We fucking love it. That's what makes the show. Hi, Dave.
I think if we start going, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-2-4, and then just fucking lash in a 3-4-3 for the crack. He hasn't got a fucking clue what his best position is at the moment.
I mean, have Arteta thinking. I think that helps as well.
I do. I agree, Dave. And I think at the same time, the team has to change. Like the age profile, and we talked about it, the age profile is getting worrying now. And I was the first one to kind of back the older players. We have to look at something different, and we have to look at integrating younger players into the team. And I'm thinking about the likes of Carvalho and Elliott when they've played in a 4-3-3. Jones as well. But Carvalho and Elliott have been out of place sometimes in some of those games when we played 4-3-3. Think of Everton. Carvalho just was not in that game.
No.
When Elliott comes on, and if Trent is not playing well or whatever, or we're under the cosh, he doesn't provide the defensive cover that Henderson would play. So maybe he plays as a right side of midfield, you know, and his role is different.
But
so
do you not think
this
Carvalho was pushed, his time playing for the first team was pushed forward because of injuries, and he's been, you know, a lot more involved. I know he's a first team squad player, but
but he, in fairness to him, he came on. His performances at the start of the season were off the bench, and he came on and he made a difference for 20 minutes. And on the back of those performances, he got a start at Everton, which he should never have got. It should have been the next game. It was a Champions League game or whatever. So I think it was a bad decision by Klopp starting him in that game. He deserved a start, but it was the wrong game.
Yeah.
Listen, they're tails up players. When everything is going well, the team is performing, you know, and we're rocking and rolling, I think you can bring those lads in and they're interchangeable and they'll do a job for you. But it's fucking roll up the sleeves. And I'm not saying they're not capable of doing it and they won't be capable of doing it in the future. But at this stage of their development, when you need everyone to roll up their sleeves, they're not at the races in a man's game. I think
Elliott's a little bit of a terrier, though. Elliott has a bit of a terrier in him.
Yeah, I don't see him winning an awful lot of ball in the middle of the park, to be honest with you. You know, typically doesn't come away with the ball.
He had a great start to the season last
he'll cover space and he'll willingly run into space and cover space all day long. But I don't see him tearing into tackles. I don't see him taking away the ball. I think he's a front foot player. You're on the front foot. You're looking to open. You're looking to create. You know, backs against the wall for the opposition, and then he's a player. Now, when you're in a 50-50 game whereby you're looking to kind of, you know, stop them getting heads up football to play balls down fucking Trent's channel, it's not his fucking game, and there's no way in hell it's his game. And that's what's happening to us at the moment, is that, you know, it's heads up football for the opposition in the middle of the park, uncontested, head up, down the right channel, when we're all sorts of shit. That's not Elliott's game. That's why we've had Wijnaldum, Henderson, and whoever else in there playing in that defensive position with our bombed on fullbacks for the last 5 or 6 years, lads. You know, that's our system. That's the way we played. You can't just throw Elliott into that now and expect him to kind of say, right, you do a Wijnaldum, you do a Henderson, you do a Fabinho. He's not going to do that. That's not his player. He's playing in that position. You know, he's not going to do it. Albeit if we're against a team whereby we're 2 or 3-0 up, or we're dominating possession, we're all over them, and we're looking for that creative spark to open somebody up, that's Elliott, that's Fabinho, or that's Carvalho.
Yeah.
Where we are now at the moment is, if we're going to play that system, you need a combative midfield across the middle, hunting, chasing, not allowing teams to get head up football.
You need legs, though, don't you?
You need legs, and we don't have the legs. We don't have the legs. But listen, you know, we've been talking about this for fucking...
We can do a whole podcast on legs. Liverpool needing legs, for fuck's sake. But listen, I think it's a big week. It's a big 7-8 days. I mean, Sunday, as I said, we've Arsenal away, which is a tough one. Then we're Wednesday, Ibrox, another tough one. And then City, Liverpool at Anfield, Sunday week. I mean, they're on fire at the moment. Don't even mention the word Haaland. Of course, he's on fire. But I think this is a make or break. I think if we can get... I suppose you could say 4 points out of the 2 games.
Haaland is out for our match. He's out for the Liverpool match.
Breaking news.
I'm just throwing it out to the universe. I'm just throwing it out to the universe and hopefully it comes back.
I hope you signed the petition to get him deported from the fucking Premiership. Because I did.
I mean, unbelievable. He'd get 50 goals, won't he, if he stays fit?
But, but the way I look at it is, and listen, and Keith, you know this, my lads' team are having a bit of a bad run at the moment. They were the team he joined were champions last year in 16 Premier. They won everything, and they've lost a couple of players and brought a couple of players in, and they haven't won a game yet. And there's big games coming up, and there's nothing better than a big game to get a big performance or a bit of luck or something to click or a 94th minute fucking OG to turn things around. And we could be
Darwin winner be nice.
We could be whipped by City, and on paper, you know, they're playing great football, and they've got that kid up front who's absolutely incredible. But we could rock up there on Sunday week, and it could click, and that could be the little kick that we need for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but I think we need 2 kicks before that City game. We'll need to be going into the City game.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
With some sort of confidence from the Rangers and Arsenal game. You know what I mean?
I'm fully confident we beat Rangers during the week. I think it's going to be a tough game, and the crowd will be mental and all that kind of stuff. I'm very confident that we beat Arsenal at the weekend, and I hope it's 2 games where we, you know, test that system that we have talked about. Hopefully he sticks with the 4-2-3-1, And I'd love to see Haaland against Van Dijk on Sunday week, and him just showing him, hang on a second, buddy, I'm back here, or a few last minute challenges. Now the lad's unplayable against most defenders. So it'd be great if we got Van Dijk back to the Van Dijk that we know in that game.
For me, I just want the performance to improve, right? So
control. Do you want control, Keith, or you don't care about control?
To be honest with you, I just control is one element, but it's only one element of the game, right? It's so, I want us back up whereby we're winning the games we're expected to win, and we're doing that on a regular basis, because we went through the 90s and we went through 2000s and the fucking 2010s, always been a side at Anfield on its day who could beat anybody. So we could go to Arsenal and beat them, and then draw with fucking Brighton midweek, and then go play City and beat City, and then fucking draw against Nottingham Forest. Now, I don't want us going back anywhere near that, I want us, so even if we lost against City, but start beating the teams we should be beating and around us, I'd much prefer that, to be honest with you, because I think that's the measure of where we should be. We should be beating everybody else bar City. That's the benchmark for us over the last couple of seasons, has been toe-to-toe with City, beating everybody else. Anything else in front of us, just fucking pushing them to the side. And then you've got these big, massive games, and we're not there at the moment. And I think that's the most important thing for me. That's
I think you're spot on right now. What I would say is, and somebody's just commented there on a Trent 95th minute winner, we were 3-2 up against Brighton with about 8 minutes to go, and they equalised. And Trent had a free kick with, I think, 3 minutes to go, and the keeper saved. We could have won it. They beat us last season. Do you know what I mean? So, match for match,
they drew 2-2 at Anfield, didn't they?
2-2, sorry. So we haven't got worse, and we were minutes away from winning the game. We've moved on then and won in the Champions League. I think we have to win on Sunday, and I think we will win. I think it'll be tight. But Keith, you're spot on. We have to be, we have to be proving ourselves as the second team or better than everybody else, and the games against City being the decisive ones.
Well, I mean, the game on Sunday is Arsenal are on top by a point. I mean, we've got to go there. This is Liverpool, and put in a performance. I think we've got to bring our A game. I don't think anything better than bringing our A game on that day will get us a result. I really don't. I think Arsenal will be up for it. They've had a bit of pain over the last 2 seasons against Liverpool, especially Jota and Bobby, and they've been hammered a few times by a few fives in there. So they'll be looking for a bit of revenge and to put down a fucking little gauntlet.
But we'll also be going there with the confidence that we've done that. That confidence is through that side, having gone there and beaten that side or gotten very good results there. It's still pretty much the same personnel who've gone there and gotten results, and you can't underestimate that as being important.
Yeah, I think the first few minutes are going to be key to this bleeding game. The tempo, the right tempo.
Concede first. First start.
First to turn the fucking telly off, for fuck's sake. But,
I think we've a bad stat there. I think we've conceded first in 9 games, or we've been behind at halftime.
It's 11 out of 14 games. Or something. It's
not great. That's really
ridiculous.
Bad. Really bad.
Yeah. Guys, I think we leave it there.
I got to run.
Yeah, go on, Keith. Talk to you. So I'll stay on for another minute. If you want to run, you can flow. And wait, is your son playing the weekend? Sunday?
He's playing Sunday 12:30. Yeah, Dublin Port.
Where? Home?
What's that? At home. Yeah.
Richmond Road. I'll pop down. I'll bring you.
Yeah, great. Thanks. All support. Gratefully appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Thanks very much. Talk to you later, bud. Cheers.
See you later. Bye-bye.
That's Keto in the house. Right, Ivy's there for another few minutes. Could be a good few people in here. Doug from the Doug Football Channel is saying, I know this match build-up, but congratulations to Liverpool on winning. Yeah, they won the Eurovision for next year. They're going to be holding it in Liverpool. That'd be some crack over Liverpool next year, wouldn't it? The fucking Eurovision. Because Ukraine couldn't hold it. They won it, of course. But Liverpool, I think it was between Liverpool and Glasgow, if I'm not wrong. And Liverpool won it. So good for the city, I suppose.
Good party weekend over there.
Fucking always a good party weekend of bleeding Liverpool, isn't it, for fuck's sake? So, look, I'm confident about Sunday. I'm not overconfident, Ivan, because the string of results we've had in the last, 2 months can't make you overconfident,
You're right.
But I'd be confident. I would never say Liverpool not to win a game. I'll actually think it'd be very tight. I think it'd be something like 2-1 either way. It could be 2-1 to Liverpool. It could be 2-1 to Arsenal. Obviously, I want it to be 2-1 to Liverpool.
No,
but I think
not
play, as I say, bring our A game, we've a chance.
Yeah. I was saying the same to the young lads today. 2-1, I think. I think they'll have lots of the ball. I think they'll be confident and go at it. Go at us. But
I think Alisson will want to have a good game as well.
And listen, he's
you're
been
right,
a rock.
You're right at home. Your keeper has to have.
He's been incredible. He has incredible. I'm wearing his jersey now. He was incredible last season. He's been incredible this season, and he's probably one of the few players in the team who has performed. I don't think you could blame him for a single goal that we've conceded. He's been really good. But yeah, we need him.
Throughout the team, I suppose you want a performance from the team this weekend.
Yeah, I just think solid, and if we keep compact with that 2 in front of the back 4, and the lads up front, like I think Jota has been great getting him back in. Bobby's been brilliant when he's come in and scored, and when he's come off the bench. And I think Nunes is going to click.
Hopefully, it's this weekend.
Yeah.
What a time to click would be this weekend. Time, get a winner. Yeah. And then you go into the Rangers game. Hopefully you win that, and then you're if they win the next 2, let's say, you're going into that City game with a totally different mentality. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what's important. Yeah. But what's he say, Dave? Do you think Bobby is gaining his form back from 2016? I mean,
no,
not really. I mean, he's done well. I mean, what has he got? 5 goals in something like the last 6 games. And I mean, the thing about the 5 sub rule is you can bring on a Bobby who does like a sniff of a goal against Arsenal. So even if Bobby doesn't start, which I don't think he will, you can bring him on last 20. You wouldn't put it past him getting a goal.
I don't think he'll start. Yeah, I don't think he'll start.
We're just going to go now in a minute. Arsenal will come hard and push for the first goal for sure, Mark, but they're at home. They're going to have to. I mean, they're confident at the top of the table. I think City will have played by then. So if City win, City will put a bit of pressure on Arsenal then because they'd be 2 points behind. Arsenal at home, in front of the fans, and will want to attack from the get-go and could leave them open to exploit us. Darren, as says Daz from Liverpool Connection podcast, look, I'm looking forward to it. Let's hope the Reds turn up on Sunday. We got to go. We got to be compact. We got to take our chances. We got to win. If we can get a win there, it really set us up nicely for the next 2 big games. Keith's been in. Ivan's here. Comments have been brilliant. Hit the like. Hit the share. A lot more stuff to come. A lot more build-up. A lot more one-on-one interviews and stuff like that. It's been great. Ivan, enjoy your weekend. Thanks to Keith earlier. Oh, hold on. I can't go without looking at this guy here. On the stoop. Brooklyn's Premier League fan show, all the way from New York. Not a chance, Dave. I presume it's Lolo. Lolo in the house, and he's not a happy camper. He goes live tonight, actually, at midnight, because obviously they're in New York. So live on the stoop tonight, I'm sure. Big Arsenal man. He was at the Emirates for the Spurs game, was it? The weekend. He was at the Emirates for that, and I seen him. He was mate, flew in from the States. So fair play to him. Lolo, fair play to you, buddy. Come on, you Gunners. Look at him. We're going to get you, baby. We're coming for you on Sunday. That's it. Stay safe. Talk soon. You never walk alone. Keith and Ivan and comments. Cheers.